Hello beautiful people, Robin Thomas here, also known as Braids by Ra. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so it is week 6 of our protective styling one-on-one where you and I sit down, we talk, we discuss everything about protective styles. Okay, so like I said, it's week 6. The first week we talked all about protective styles. We went over terminology and things like that. On week 2, we talked all about box braids. Week 3, we talked about twists. Week 4, I believe we talked about crochet braids. Week 5, we talked about faux and goddess locks. So it is week 6 and I am here today and we are going to discuss micro braids. Micro braids as a protective braiding style. So if you're interested in what I have to tell you all on today, stay tuned. Okay, so if you're like anybody else, who thinks about micro braids like from the jump, I know the first thing people think about is micro braids being super duper small. Oh my gosh, who's gonna take all that out? I don't have time. And it's like, listen, micro braids, people be sleeping on micro braids. They be sleeping. I don't know why. Y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to wake up, especially if you have short hair. Those TWAs, people who have TWAs, people who just have short natural hair at that awkward length, and it's like, okay, my puff not looking as good as I thought it would. I'm doing the same thing. I don't know what's going on. You know, as you're going through your protective styling journey and you have shorter hair, I truly believe that micro braids is a really good, especially if you have short hair, okay, it's a really good protective style. I'm going to get into that more, but just, you know, stay with me, bear with me. I'm starting with the cons first because people only think, unless you get micro braids, people only think negative about micro braids. So a con, again, like I said, they're super small. So that means the takedown of that is like a long time. It's a long time. Yes, your arms will be hurting. You know, you just got to be honest about stuff like that. You know, you have to be honest when people are asking about hairstyles because they need to know what they're getting into, because sometimes we have unnecessary breakage and lack of knowledge, or just wanting to style somebody or wanting to get the money, or for whatever reason wanting to throw the style in and not really thinking about the entire process. You all need to know that it takes a while to take micro braids down, okay? It takes a while to take micro braids down. For me personally, whenever I would have my micro braids in, listen, I was busy. I was very busy growing up. So, and back then I had permed hair. But when I had micros in, I was taking down, I would literally take a week to take them down. Like, I'm not playing no games. I'm gonna put my hair in a ponytail and I'm gonna start from the middle. And I'm gonna take a couple down, a couple hundred down a day or so, you know, over the course of probably about 5 days. Like personally, I took my time on purpose because I knew that my schedule was so busy that I really took my time when I took my micro braids down. Now, because it does take a while to take them down, you have to just go ahead and throw it in there. It takes a while to get them. But this is how I think of it. And this is how I think about any protective style that takes a long time. Think about, you're putting something in your hair. You're spending a day on your hair. Some people take 2 days for micro braids, just depending on how fast and things like that. My average micro braids take about 8 to 9 hours, depending on thickness of hair. But you are one day of your life to not have to worry about your hair for 3 months. I don't know, it's a steal for me. But you know, hey, everybody, to each his own, to each his own, to each his own. But you do have to sit there for at least, now there are some people out there who are really fast. Now, I don't know how, they probably have more than one person. Some braid shops usually have more than one person on someone's head, which brings the time down a lot. But they take, I'm gonna just say on average, because some people can do less than 8 hours, but I'm just gonna say on average worldwide, on average, I'm gonna say about 8 to 12 hours worldwide average, okay? Worldwide average, because they are super tiny braids. Now the braids are not braided all the way down to the ends. They're braided about 4 to 6 inches of the hair. they are braided to about 4 to 6 inches of the hair. Now, this is why I suggested earlier that if you are getting micro braids, the best type of hair to get micro braids on is short natural hair, or short hair period. That's probably about 4 inches or less. And or if your hair is perm and your hair is, I'll say to about shoulder length, you can really get away with it. Because if your hair is perm, the hair that is used for micro braid hair, this definitely should have been stated at the beginning, but I'm gonna just throw it in here. We, you know what I'm saying, we just gonna catch up with each other, you know, because we just talking, me and you, we just sitting down, we discussing it. So the type of hair used for micro braids is basically any type of human hair that is not on a weft, not on track hair, but human hair that is not on the weft. That's the only thing I can think of how to say it. That's the only thing I can think of to say it. So think of hair weave when you get your sew-ins or your quick weaves or whatever. Think of that hair. Think of it cut off of the weft that you put the glue or the needle through. Think of that hair cut off to where it's just free hair. So the hair, I think it usually starts around maybe 14 inches for length, and I personally have seen it go as long as 26 inches in my hair in a hair store that I used to go to when I was growing up. So about 14 to 26 inches of hair you can get for micro braided hair. They are braided down 4 to 6 inches on your hair. They are not braided all the way to the ends. The reason for that is to give it an extremely natural look, because the braids are so tiny. You can't tell until you go up close on somebody. It's like, girl, them braids in your head. The braids are so tiny, and then the hair is free and it's like silk pressed or perm, or it's straight hair or wavy. You can get curly, you can get different types, but depending on what you want, it's very, very similar to having in tracks or to having in a sew-in or a weave, but instead you have in braids, and you have complete access to your scalp. And they're really tiny, so you can't really tell, like I said, from a distance. I remember when I was growing up, I used to be like, okay, I want micro braids, because when I put on a hat or something, I didn't wear hats when I was growing up, but when I put on a hat, I want to make sure, I want to like, is my real hair coming out the mouth? You know, that's just how I used to be when I was growing up. And that was one of the things about micro braids that I love. You know, you can easily put into a ponytail or into a bun. It's just like the natural density of your hair, just on a longer scale or just longer. So those are where micro braids are. Now back to regular schedule programming. So that is why I recommend those who have short hair or permed hair for micro braids. It's short hair, you know, your hair is going to be braided into it, because like I said, it's braided 4 to 6 inches down the shaft. With perm hair, if your hair is longer than 4 to 6 inches, that's fine, because your hair would be straight, you know, coming out of it. Your ends are straight, so it blends seamlessly. Unlike if you were to have natural hair and you were to do 4 to 6 inches and you ain't got no heat damage. We don't want heat damage, so don't go out and get no heat damage just to get some micro braids. But and you have heat damage, or you don't have heat damage, and you only braid, or say you braid 6 inches, you know, it starts to I was gonna say start the rain. You start to wash your hair, and you know, your hair is starting to pop out or whatever because it's too long, and now your afro hair is coming out. So you don't want that. So just keep that in mind whenever you are getting micro braids. Now, if it is braided longer than that, you might as well just say you got some micro box braids in. Okay? Just say it. Micro box braids. I've done it before. I love them. Just say you got some micro box braids. Okay, so now that I've talked about the cons, we've got the cons out of the way, the things that people obviously don't like, you know, they can see from sight, observations, they can be like, now that look like they take forever. Or those are really tiny, what's the takedown on those? You know what I mean? So we've got those out of the way. Now let's talk about the pros to micro braids. Y'all, micro braids, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, they are so versatile. Like, you can treat it, as I was explaining what micro braids were, you know, it's like having a weave in without having the weave in. Like, you have a complete and total access to your scalp to wash your scalp. With the human hair, you can, if you get straight hair, you can curl it, you can crimp it, you can braid it, make it wavy, make it crinkly. You can do almost whatever it is that you want to do. Just be careful when it comes to how much heat you put on it, but it's usually on the back of the pack on how much heat you can and can't apply. Why don't I just say that as if it's not human hair? Y'all, see, that's the beautiful thing about it. You ain't got to worry about niggas, it's human. So you can hook it up how you want to hook it up is what I'm saying. Okay. But yeah, so it's versatile. You know, you can curl it, and you can buy it in many different patterns, wave patterns. You can buy it straight, you can buy it wavy, you can buy it curly, you can buy different colors, unbraid. You can get super, when I say super, I mean super versatile when it comes to this type of hair. You know what I mean? Some people will even find micro braid hair that matches their that matches like hair weave, and they'll do micro braids on the perimeter and then do a sew-in in the middle, you know, so they don't have to have any leave out, you know. They just do a lot of different things, a lot of different ways to get the results that they want when it comes to micro braids, because they are so versatile. You can do so much to them. You can do so much to make them look so natural and things like that. You don't have to worry about your hair for at least, when I say at least, I mean at least, listen, I say at least, I'm gonna give you 12. I'm gonna give you 12 of them weeks. I'm gonna give you 3 months. Now, for some people, I know when I had my micro box braids in, I did have to do 12 weeks. Not 12. I did have to do 8 weeks. I personally don't like to do touch-ups and stuff like that when it's time for a style to be done with. It's out. You know what I'm saying? So I only did 8 weeks. If you do get a touch-up, or if your hair doesn't grow that fast to where your hair isn't like hanging on for your life, then y'all, your hair can be done for 3 whole months, 12 weeks, and you not have to worry about it. I'm just saying, like, just think about a new mom who has a TWA or who has permed hair. Give you some micro braids for you go in labor. It's gonna be good for the month before, 2 months after, as you know what I'm saying, getting ready for baby and getting, you know, situated with baby. You're good, and it's not a lot of hair, it's out of the way. Micro braids are just so beautiful and gorgeous and so very, very versatile. Be versatile, with color or anything. So something else I wanted to say too, something that you cannot do. So when it comes to micro braids, you know how like now we like to wear all types of colors and be creative and show our personality and show how we feel, you know, through our hair, you know, through our appearance, and hair is one of those things. Because you're using human hair, you can dye that hair. Like if it's a color, like say somebody like green or something like that, listen, go out there, buy you super blonde hair, the 613, the platinum, you know what I'm saying? Go buy some hair dye it, put it in as micro braids. Look, listen, because it's human hair. You can do a lot with it. Just like I mentioned in all of my other videos, if you are installing, if you're getting somebody else to install it, please still do not add too much hair. We want our protective styles to protect. I did have a client, I have one client who I do that gets micro braids, like that's her protective style. And she asked me if I can put more hair. I was doing the braids for her part. And she said, can you put more hair to where you can't see my scalp? And I said, no ma'am. And she was like, why? And I'm like, well, even though micro braids are smaller and you don't use as much hair, you're still using an even smaller section than you would normally use for say like a box braids or a Marley twist. So you still want to make sure your ratio is like on point, because you can still get damage from that, from putting too much hair on top of your hair. So always be careful not to add too much. We want our protective styles to protect. There's no point in having a protective style if it isn't doing this job. have fun with this style. You know, if you decide to do micro braids, or if you still do micro braids, anybody that still gets micro braids done or does micro braids, give me a thumbs up. You know, let a sister know something. I hope for everyone else that this video was beneficial to you when it came to deciding if micro braids was good for you or if they are not the protective style for you. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. For those of you who have sat through this video and have enjoyed the information and are yet not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss anything. Like mentioned in my video, my goal is and always will be protective braiding styles, okay? Our goal is to grow your hair through protective braiding styles. We want our hairstyles to protect. We're not just doing it for a look. So this information that I'm giving you is all out of love and all out of care, because I want to see everybody's natural hair goals and dreams come true, and I want to see their hair flourish and to become healthy. And I don't want to see edges breaking off whenever I see my sister walking down the street with her box braids in. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to see stuff like that. So I want to make sure that I'm doing my part and educating as much as I can. Thank you all for those who are already subscribers to my channel. Hello to those who are new to this video. Please go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss anything else. Next week, we are going to talk about the classic cornrows, okay, like where it all started. So if you have any questions or anything on that topic, go ahead and leave them below. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe so that other people can see what I have to offer, the information that I have to give as we are all going along on our protective styling or healthy hair growth journeys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you all on next week when we talk about cornrows and our protective styling one-on-one. I hope that you all have a wonderful, fulfilling, joyous, gracious, beautiful week ahead of you, and I will see you all soon. Peace and blessings.